when it really amped up was when they were pushing for the card at the venues that I already booked. And that's when that's when when the spotlight came on me, because all I did was just make a simple video, which I had no clue would go viral. And I just said, I'm canceling those shows. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to go and take a shot to go laugh at a venue. Like, if you don't want to go to the venue and you're scared, don't go. It's okay. If you want to go there and wear your mask, knock yourself out. But if you're gonna, now you can't see me unless you get a shot, well then now, and that's what really started the whole thing. I mean, the next thing you know, it's like Tucker's calling me, and the news is viciously trying to take me down.
Listen, I'm not
into it.
I'm not a proponent of that either. The point is, but at the time,
yes,
they didn't want to force or allow what they called at the time a super spreader. I'll tell you a little story just to
go ahead, and I'll tell you a story.
Okay, my story's first, but
without
giving too much away, I have a grandchild that is immune compromised right now. Okay. And really, and a cold is as bad as COVID or whatever. Okay. So we have to, in certain places, we have to wear a mask. Okay. My daughter and I, when we wear a mask, and if she ever shows up on the air with a mask for whatever reason, the attacks,
vitriol. Like in my Instagram, I think there's been a couple times where I posted a story of me hanging out with my son. Haven't really mentioned anything about my son in social media, but I was wearing a mask with him because of whatever our situation is, and the amount of comments and hate and disgust that I get in the comments, and they have no idea what my situation is. They have no idea what I'm doing, and I don't why does anyone care what anyone else is deciding to do is what I don't understand. And it's just crazy to me.
So what I'm saying is, if at the time, in order to, for insurance reasons, see, this is what I understand. It was just for business. For insurance reason, if somebody went to a Jim Breuer concert and then got incredibly sick and somehow traced it back to that, the venue, the promoter, could have been sued. We are a very litigious country. So they were making people, and what I'm saying to you is, I would have said, do the concert and say to people, if you don't want to come, then don't come. If you want to come, this is what they're doing for insurance reasons. By the same token, it's kind of like, we're just, somebody's going to sue them, whether they're right or wrong.
I understood that, and I understood that. Again, there was a lot of people that didn't want to go to that length. So I felt, if I'm in a position, the last thing I ever want to do, because I'm going to tell you a story about my best friend's daughter, who, I'm not saying this is what caused it, but when the swine flu was around, the schools made her get vaccinated, and she went paralyzed the next day. Now, of course, the doctors and everyone, their mother, will say, oh, there's no correlation and blah, blah, blah.
And there could very well be a correlation.
By miracle of choice of the gods, this 5-year-old kid, after getting vaccinated, I'm not saying that's what caused it, went paralyzed.
Right. And I know people who had COVID shots that got blood clots and had issues. I also know people that got vaccinated that got mildly ill. Now, I can't say they might have only gotten mildly ill because of it, but I personally was betting on it.
So where I was coming from is the people that felt my way, meaning we don't need a vaccination.
Which I respect.
We don't want a vaccination, but at that time, the world was pressuring us. You got your president screaming at us.
Right.
You have every news channel. You got Chris Cuomo insulting me. You got Gene Simmons insulting me. You got Arnold Schwarzenegger, Howard Stern, everyone and their mother, people that I really looked up to and admired, are not only saying, do this, they were insulting you, or you're a this or you're a that, and you're the issue and you're the problem. But there was many of us that knew we weren't the problem. And the last thing I want to do is put those people in a position where now they were like, damn, even Jim Breuer's doing a show where you got to get vaccinated now. I don't want to do that to anyone. And there were people that do that because I was invited to do this big concert event. I don't need to say in the band, but they asked me, hey, do you got the car? I said, no, I don't have it. And they're like, all right, well, you can't participate. So it was 2 arena shows plus a theater show with them, and I couldn't do it and wouldn't let me do it, and that's okay. I respect their decision. But the amount of people that I saw online going, I really want to go to the show, but I don't want to get vaccinated, but to see them, I guess I'll get vaccinated. I don't ever want to put a human in that choice.
But that's not, but you didn't.
I didn't, and that's why I did that.
No. But what I'm saying is, what you're doing is you're taking much more responsibility than you need to take, because the thing is, you could have still done the show, and it's up to me whether, if I am not vaccinated but I have to, and I want to see you, and I have to have a vaccine to see you. Yeah. It's up to me whether I want to get the vaccine. So you're not putting anybody in a position. You're not, but they are put in a position. Ultimately, it was just liability. It's liability. That's all it is. It's a money.
So it comes down to money. And if money's the root of all evil, it's coming from a bad place. If you worry just about money rather than people's mental health and their physical health, then you're spreading a lie. And that's where the issue, where me personally, I was coming from.
I don't think,
and I know you don't believe that. I believe that.
No, I respect what you're saying. I respect your belief. I also respect somebody who is aware or has had a bad result from a previous vaccine, or doesn't believe that they've spent enough time on it and is just scared, and whatever reason that is. I chose to have the vaccine. And if somebody chose not to have the vaccine, I also chose whether I wanted to be right next to them if I was worried, because I knew that they were out in public a lot, and I was scared because I'm a germaphobe anyway. I'm a guy who didn't shake hands before.
I would imagine you were in serious trouble during that time.
I mean, COVID was just Howie world, and the truth of the matter is, I respect that. But whether I think pharmaceuticals are evil and this was created just to make money, I don't believe that. I personally believe that this happened, it got out of hand, and there was a lot of irresponsibility involved in allowing this to get out of hand, and they could have fucking killed the world with this kind of operation. I believe at the time they thought mass immunization is the answer for everyone, and maybe it isn't the answer for everyone. And because of that, if I was a venue, if I was, Live Nation and whoever, I wouldn't want to be put in a position where I am liable to a lawsuit because I got sick at a Jim Breuer concert. And mildly, like a cold, but I went home and my grandfather, who's 96, who would have died in 3 months anyhow, got my cold and died. What a great target for Live Nation to pay millions and millions of dollars. And ultimately, everybody, including us, we're in show business, is making business decisions to the best, using the best knowledge they have at that moment.